Jackson Roloff's health and leg bowing journey, a story of family, resilience, and medical milestones. Jackson Roloff, the firstborn son of Tori and Zach Roloff, entered the world on May 12, 2017, and instantly captured the hearts of millions. As a central figure on TLC's popular reality series Little People, Big World, Jackson's life has unfolded before the public, particularly his health journey related to his inherited form of dwarfism. Born to two parents with achondroplasia, the most common form of dwarfism, Jackson's diagnosis was expected, but his unique path, particularly concerning leg bowing, has been a focal point of family updates and fan concern. This comprehensive update delves into Jackson's health, his leg bowing journey, the medical interventions undertaken, and what his current status means for his future. Understanding the medical background, achondroplasia and its implications. To fully appreciate Jackson's journey, one must understand achondroplasia. It is a genetic condition that affects bone growth, resulting in disproportionate short stature, with shorter limbs relative to the torso. A common orthopedic complication in achondroplasia is genu varum, or significant bowing of the legs. This is not merely a cosmetic issue. Severe bowing can cause times joint pain, abnormal stress on the knees and ankles, times gait instability, difficulty walking and increased risk of falls, times early arthritis, accelerated wear and tear on joint surfaces, times risk of deformity, progressive worsening if left unaddressed. For Jackson, monitoring this bowing became a critical part of his pediatric care from an early age. His parents, both having navigated their own medical challenges, were proactive in seeking the best evaluations and treatments. The early years, monitoring and the decision point. In early episodes and social media posts, fans watched Jackson grow from an infant to an energetic toddler. While his developmental milestones were largely on track, the curvature in his legs became more pronounced as he began to bear weight and walk. Tori and Zach were transparent about their regular checkups with pediatric orthopedists, specialists familiar with skeletal dysplasias. The key question for the family and their medical team was, would the bowing correct itself with growth, or would it require surgical intervention? For many children with achondroplasia, a degree of bowing is typical and may stabilize. However, when the bowing is severe enough to risk the long-term complications listed above, surgery becomes a recommended path to ensure mobility and pain-free function. The surgical journey, guided growth and osteotomy. After consistent monitoring and consultations with top specialists, the Roloffs decided around 2022 to 2023 that Jackson would benefit from orthopedic surgery. The primary goal was to straighten his legs to improve his gait, prevent pain, and safeguard his long-term orthopedic health. The specific procedure Jackson underwent is known as guided growth surgery, hemiepiphysiodesis. This minimally invasive surgery involves placing small, temporary plates and screws on the inner side of the growth plates around the knee. These implants tether or slow down growth on that side, while the outer side continues to grow normally. Over time, typically 12 to 24 months, this gradual, guided growth slowly straightens the bone. It's a powerful technique that leverages a child's own growth to correct the deformity. In some complex cases, or for older children, a more immediate correction via osteotomy, cutting and realigning the bone, might be necessary. While the Roloffs have not disclosed the minutiae of Jackson's surgical plan, the principles of guided growth align with the timeline and updates they've shared. Recovery and rehabilitation, a family effort. The Roloffs documented parts of Jackson's recovery with care and positivity, always mindful of his privacy. Updates showed. 1. Immediate post-op. Jackson was brave and resilient. There was an initial period of pain management, mobility assistance, using a wheelchair or walker, and adapting to daily life with limitations. 2. Physical therapy, a crucial component of recovery. Therapy focused on maintaining strength, restoring his range of motion, and relearning to walk with a new, straighter alignment. His natural exuberance and the support of his parents and younger brother, Josiah, were major assets. 3. The emotional component. Tori and Zach consistently emphasized Jackson's emotional well-being. They celebrated small victories, normalized the process, and ensured he felt empowered, not defined by his treatment. Jackson Roloff health update. Where is he now? As of late 2024, Jackson Roloff is thriving. Based on the most recent family shares on social media and the show Time's active lifestyle, Jackson is an energetic, playful 7-year-old. He is often seen running, playing soccer, helping on the family farm, and engaging in typical childhood activities with increased stability and confidence. Time's visible progress, photos and videos show a significant improvement in the alignment of his legs. His gait appears more stable and natural. Time's medical management, he continues with regular orthopedic follow-ups to monitor his growth and the success of the procedure. The guided growth plates may be removed once optimal alignment is achieved. Time's overall health, beyond orthopedics, Jackson manages the common health considerations of achondroplasia, such as monitoring for sleep apnea and ear infections, with the guidance of a specialized care team. He is a happy, bright boy who excels in school and enjoys a rich family life. The role of family and public platform. Zach and Tori Roloff have walked a careful line with Jackson's journey. They have used their platform to Times raise awareness, educating the public about achondroplasia beyond stereotypes. Times offer support, connecting with other families facing similar medical decisions. Times advocate for choice, emphasizing that every child and family's path is unique. Their decision for surgery was personal and medically advised, not a universal prescription for all little people with bowing. Times normalize difference. Most importantly, they have raised Jackson and his siblings in an environment where his dwarfism is a part of him, but does not limit his dreams or define his identity. Looking ahead, long-term outlook. The long-term prognosis for Jackson is excellent. The intent of the leg straightening surgery is preventive and quality of life focused. By addressing the bowing in childhood, the medical team aims to Times eliminate or drastically reduce future knee and joint pain. Times prevent the need for more drastic surgeries, like joint replacements, in early adulthood. Times allow him unrestricted participation in the sports and activities he loves. Times provide a stable. Jackson Roloff's leg bowing journey is more than a medical update, it's a modern narrative of parenting, disability, and proactive healthcare in the public eye. It showcases the importance of specialized medical care for skeletal dysplasias, the effectiveness of modern orthopedic techniques, and the incredible resilience of children. Through the love and advocacy of Tori and Zach, Jackson is not just managing a condition, he is flourishing. His story continues to inspire families around the world, reminding us that, okay, stop everything. Rewind the tape. Let's go back to a moment that, for millions of viewers, felt like a permanent postcard. The sun is dappling over that 100-acre farm in Oregon. There's the smell of pumpkin spice in the air. A little red-haired boy is navigating the world on crutches, his brothers are getting into some hilarious mischief in the barn, and at the center of it all are the parents. The anchors. The undeniable, rock-solid team of Matt and Amy Roloff. Their bickering was a language of love, their differences a comedy routine, their commitment the very foundation of the sprawling, chaotic, beautiful world of Little People, Big World. They were the couple you argued with but always made up. The couple who built a legacy, literally, from the ground up. They were forever. Until they weren't. The divorce of Matt and Amy Roloff, finalized in 2016, wasn't just a tabloid headline. It was an earthquake that fractured the very landscape of America's most beloved reality TV family. We watched it happen in real time. The tense negotiations over the farm, the new partners entering the frame, the shifting alliances. We thought we'd processed it. We thought the dust had settled. But here's the hook, the twist that nobody saw coming in those early days of the split. The most shocking divorce in the Roloff family wasn't Matt and Amy's. It was the divorce that happened after the divorce. The silent, devastating, and far more complex uncoupling of the entire Roloff family from each other, from the farm, and from the very identity that made them famous. What began as the end of a marriage spiraled into a multi-generational saga of betrayal, business, legacy, and the brutal cost of living your life under a microscope. This is the story of how one divorce led to many fractures. This is the story of the Roloff second, and far more painful, divorce. Let's set the stage properly. Little People, Big World premiered on TLC in 2006. It was a genuine phenomenon. Here was a family not defined by their dwarfism, but dynamically living with it. Matt, the visionary, dreamer, and sometimes stubborn patriarch with his endless farm projects. Amy, the pragmatic, organized, heart-of-the-home matriarch trying to keep the chaos at bay. And their 4 children, twins Jeremy and Zach, both with dwarfism, Molly, and Jacob. They were relatable. Their fights over messes, their financial stresses, their teenage dramas, it was all magnified by the unique challenges they faced, but at its core, it was a family. Our family, in a way. We invested in them. For over a decade, the show's central narrative engine was the will they or won't they of Matt and Amy's relationship. Their chemistry was undeniable, even if it was often a chemistry of conflict. Matt's big ideas clashed with Amy's desire for order. His risk-taking grated against her caution. But through it all, there was a bond, forged in raising 4 kids, building a pumpkin season empire, and navigating a world not built for people their size. We rooted for them. We believed in the big world they built together. Then, in 2015, the announcement. Amy confirmed they had separated after 27 years of marriage. The official reason? A gradual drifting apart. But for astute viewers, the cracks had been visible for seasons. Matt's increasing retreat into his farm projects and his separate dwelling in the DW, the dwarf warehouse, a converted barn on the property. Amy's growing frustration at being a farm widow. The palpable tension during family meetings. The divorce played out on camera, a masterclass in uncomfortable reality TV. We saw the painful division of assets, most notably the fight over the family farm, Roloff Farms. This, right here, was the first crack in the foundation that would eventually swallow everything else. The farm wasn't just land. It was Matt's life's work, his identity, his ultimate project. For Amy, it was the family home, the repository of every memory, the business she helped build. It became a proxy war for their entire relationship. Matt wanted to buy her out and keep it holy. Amy wanted her fair share and, at times, seemed to want to deprive him of total control. It was bitter. It was financial. And it was televised. In 2016, the divorce was final. Amy moved to a nearby house on the property, then eventually off the farm entirely to a new home. Matt remained, now the sole monarch of his kingdom, albeit a kingdom with a very complicated history. And we, the audience, breathed a sigh of melancholic acceptance. Well, we thought, that's that. The chapter is closed. Now we'll see their new lives, their new loves. It'll be different, but the family will endure. Oh, how naive we were. Because the divorce of Matt and Amy wasn't an endpoint. It was a catalyst. It unleashed a tidal wave of unresolved issues, business entanglements, and deep-seated familial wounds that had been festering under the glossy surface of TV fame for 15 years. The family business, Roloff Farms, was now a corporation. The children were no longer kids. They were adults with their own families, perspectives, and stakes in the legacy. And the camera kept rolling, documenting every awkward holiday, every tense conversation, every veiled comment. Enter the new partners. Matt found love with Karen Chandler, the farm's longtime office manager. A woman who had been in the background for years, a friend to both Matt and Amy. The optics were complicated. For many fans, Karen was immediately cast as the villain, the interloper, the possible cause of the divorce, allegations both Matt and Karen have consistently denied. Amy, meanwhile, found happiness with Chris Marek, a calm and steadying presence who seemed to offer her the peace the farm never did.